Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. We're speaking with Larry Reaugh, President and CEO of American Manganese Incorporated. Welcome back, Larry.
Well, Jim, I'm glad to be back. It's been a couple of weeks since we had a chat.
So what's happening there at American Manganese?
Well, it's been a very busy couple of weeks, and I just got back from Arizona and Phoenix, where I was doing a presentation to a group of an AMY investors, and if anybody wants to know what that is, that's a group of retirees that are millionaires and could be billionaires that are right across the United States. There's something like 500 or 600 chapters, and one of the biggest ones is in Scottsdale, and so we had a presentation there, myself and Norm, and we were well received. We had a lot of questions. We met some people that will be big advantage to the company down the road. And, you know, it was just a real successful weekend. Then we had a press release that came out yesterday, and that release generated more interest in the stock. We were able to leach 100% of the critical metals in the lithium-ion EV battery, and those critical metals are cobalt, lithium, nickel, and manganese, and get 100% recovery. So that is a real milestone for the company, and anybody that understands metallurgy would know that it seems like we've met all our goalposts, that we've never had a setback in our program of research with Chemetco. And Chemetco, throughout this work is looking at perhaps that we might be applying for 2 or 3 more patents to cover things that we're discovering along the way. What this release does is it tells you that, okay, we've leached it, we've been done precipitation tests on the cobalt, and we've done precipitation tests on the lithium with high results. We'll be doing precipitation tests on the manganese and the cobalt. We expect the manganese and nickel. We expect the nickel to react much the same as the cobalt has, which has been a very easy job for us to get the 100% of the cobalt out. And the manganese will react somewhat the same as the lithium. That said and done, what these tests do is when you file a patent, you've got to optimize your reagent use, your temperatures, your water, and the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. And throughout that, you may discover things that should be patented that could make it an easier process. So, you know, it's tedious work, but we want to be able to paper that patent so it's totally airtight. And that's important to the company and the shareholders. So, you know, that's coming off, and it's working very well. Chemetco's doing a fantastic job. So I can't say enough about that we're very encouraged with everything that we're doing. Back on January the 16th, I put a release out what the value of the cathode materials were in lithium-ion batteries for EV cars, and you can see that there's a very high value. And that just brings us to the point of cobalt. I mean, cobalt. It's hitting the news. It's a lot of companies are starting to fly on cobalt. And I don't know if they realize it, but somebody calculated what 500,000 cars of the new Model 3 that's going to be built at the Gigafactory would contain 7,400 tons of cobalt. Now that's about 8% of the world's supply of cobalt, or maybe say 7% of the world's supply of 7 to 8% of the world's supply of cobalt. Where's that going to come from? We know we're running into shortages. We know that in order to get more cobalt out there, we have to increase the capacities of nickel and copper mines, which the prices of those two commodities are not indicative of doing that, because that's the majority of their of the cash flow is in these products. They only get about 1 to 2% of their profits or of their cash flow from cobalt. So that doesn't look like an answer to me. In the meantime, to get a cobalt mine going today, you're looking at, with all the permitting and everything else, we've all gone through it. We've all seen the statistics of how long it takes to make a discovery and then go through the process of environmental work and feasibility studies, native negotiations, and negotiations with interested shareholders or affected shareholders. And that can be up to 10 to 15 years. So what we're looking for is immediate remedies, but there's none on the horizon. Even with recycling, it's not an immediate remedy. It's going to take us 3 years minimum before we could build a commercial plant. And but that's where the cobalt's going to have to come from. It's going to have to be recycled, and so we think we're in the right spot at the right time. Now, a question that I've been getting from my shareholders is, I mentioned on one of our shows that we would probably look at spinning off our mining assets. Well, that's becoming more imperative, although it's not on the immediate horizon, because EMD is hitting the news again, and that's used in could be used in the lithium-manganese batteries, certainly used in the recent chemistries that we just tested, NMC, nickel, manganese, cobalt, and there's talk of big usage in storage batteries with Tesla. So EMD is coming to the front, and as you know, Jim, back in 2010 to 2012, we did a lot of work on EMD with our low-grade deposits in Arizona. We actually produced the EMD from artillery peak ores, and using the chemical manganese dioxide process rather than the electrolysis process, electroplating process, we produced working lithium-ion manganese batteries. So it's something that's going to come to the forefront. We're busy, and we're going to be real busy. We've had all kinds of meetings, all kinds of conference calls and everything else on a steady basis this year with interested parties. And so we would like to basically put the focal point of the mining into another company. And the question that I'm trying to address here is, on the bull boards, they say that we're going to, throw out the recycling aspect of the business and leave the American Manganese holding the mining property. So that's not so. We don't plan to dilute the shareholders in American Manganese at all. This is a benefit to the shareholders, whereas they would get, on a ratio, maybe that ratio could be 1 to 1, but I'm thinking more that it could be up to 1 to 3, that for every American Manganese share that they hold today, they could end up with, say, 2, 3, or 1/3, a quarter, 1/2 of a share in a new company. That's a great dividend. I mean, that's a big plus for the shareholders of our company. It's like, wow, we got a bunch of free shares in a new company. And I can't see that as a bad thing. But in the bull boards, they try to make it look like it's a bad thing. I mean, it's called short and distort. So I just wanted to bring that up and pass that by to our audience, that this question has come up, And it doesn't mean that we're going to immediately do this. There's other things that we have to do, and there's a cost in doing it. But it's something that's on the board. And now, with the interest in electrolytic manganese dioxide, or chemical manganese dioxide, and the interest in cobalt, and we've got high-grade cobalt and gold on our project up in New Hazelton on the Rocher de Boule project, maybe it's time to be able to focus on those, but in another company. And so it's just something that we're batting around in our heads, and we haven't made the move to do that yet. But I thought I'd just explain it, that it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing for the shareholders.
Well, Larry, American Manganese now is attracting a lot of attention. It was even brought up by the Resource Work Society here in BC about how it is helping renew a resource that a lot of people were worried was going to run out.
Well, that's exactly right. It just so happens that this is not an overnight success like most people would believe. It just so happens that we spent the effort and the time and the dollars and to be able to produce manganese, electrolytic metals out of very low-grade deposits in Artillery Peak. People keep forgetting that. All they look at is the grades of the deposits were 2 to 3%. They don't look at the fact that it didn't matter that we could produce electrolytic metals at the same cost as China does out of, say, 45% manganese. So, this is coming to the forefront. We've done that work. We've taken that work, and Cometco has recognized that there were aspects of that patent that would help recover the recycled material from these lithium-ion batteries. So that's, it's sometimes you have to go way back. It's not like it was just last year that we completed the proof of concept. It was like we actually did the base work, the heavy lifting back in 2010 and 11. So we hope that we're going to be a big benefit to the environment. We hope they're going to be a big benefit to the end users of cobalt, and lithium, and nickel, manganese, you name it.
Larry, for new listeners, could you maybe tell us again what the primary mission of American Manganese is and what you've discovered?
Well, our primary issue is the recycling of lithium-ion batteries from electric vehicles, and we qualify that by electric vehicles because it's the one area where you can get a lot of batteries with the same chemistry in one battery. You'll get, for example, on a Tesla battery, there's 12,000 cells. 12,000 cells in that battery, and they're all the same chemistry. Whereas if you look at your laptops and other big users of lithium-ion, they're all different shapes and sizes, and you end up, how do you get that? How do you get that battery disassembled? How do we can recycle it. We could recycle all that material. But somebody else would have to come up with and say, look, we got a way of getting the cathode material out if you could treat it, and then we would do that. But we're focused on EV batteries because it's the fastest growing use of these metals that we've talked about. And it gives you a concentration and a focus of batteries all in one spot. Now, that's not rocket science to figure that out. But we know that we can actually, from all the work that we've done to date, there's every possibility that we'll be successful in recycling the material.
Larry, where can you find American Manganese listed?
American Manganese is listed on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol AMY. It's listed on the U.S. Exchange under the symbol AMY.V, and in Frankfurt under the symbol 2M. You can go to our site, which is, by the way, is under renewal, and but you still can go to the old site and get all the information you need at AmericanManganeseInc.com. or you can phone me at 778-574-4444.
Larry, thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
My guest has been Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. We were speaking on April 12th. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.